Anyway, welcome back to the East Coast,
Yay.
Melinas.
Yay.
Hello.
My understanding is you guys went off to Vegas without the Laos for the first time in many years.
Well, any Jersey people. Well, actually, we had New Jersey peeps,
Yeah.
but then they did the
Yeah.
tourist thing. So it was just us. And Leo, our boy Leo.
And Leo,
is
yep.
very loyal.
But did you guys end up with a good room or a bad room? Because there were a lot of
We-
complaints coming in about
You know
the
what?
condition of the rooms.
Like we ended up on the newly renovated side of the Rio.
Let's backtrack
Yeah,
and make
go
it clear
ahead.
that when you book the hotel through WPPI, that was pretty much the only option. So people who either did not do that or went the other direction, booked the hotel on the side, got the crappy tower. So it wasn't it was a kind of like you did it to yourself kind of thing. So
Mhm.
And also the
that-
people that were complaining, they never stayed at the Excalibur. When it was at the Excalibur, that was like
Yeah.
like
Always
low down,
Story.
run down like 1980s Vegas. So
Uh-huh.
this was slightly better than that. So the people that were complaining didn't go to that WPPI.
Uh-huh.
So for us, it was like, you know what? I don't understand the issue too. Like we're only there to sleep in the room, like to change and sleep. Like we're never hanging out in the room. We're always at the show floor or classes or just networking, right? So the
Right.
people are complaining. They're just finding any little thing.
two perks. These rooms were massive, like huge.
They were like
Yeah.
apartments.
And
Wow.
there was fridges that you could actually use. There's no locking key on them.
Mm.
So we had free access to
Ah.
a fridge. There was perks.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
The other complaint that I heard was, there wasn't a whole lot of content. A lot of the stuff that people would want to see or would want to experience, you have to pay for it, like the
Yeah.
like photo walks and things like that. Like not too many free photo walks, but were they ever free? The photo walks?
No,
No.
they were never. You always had
No.
to pay. Yep.
Just for like a couple years ago, they did have a like all access pass that you paid extra for, and that included like unlimited photo walks. They don't do that no more, so it's a little bit less like affordable. I think it's like $150 per photo
Mhm.
walk. What I was saying,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's always
Oh.
a hit and miss with a photo walk too. Like I've been to them. There's some where I walked away with a little bit not more knowledge, and there's some that I just like stood there and like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, you're
basic,
there to
you know?
pick up. You're there to pick up your rewards and awards rather, and get your flowers, right? So let's give a big shout out to our boy Ro.
Thank you.
Brr, 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 brr. Right. So he came back. He came back with a big old award. So another one to add to the collection. So when you're interviewing your future customers, right? You can just have him in the back, just like discreetly, just very
I should.
discreetly. And he's like, oh, by the way, this thing I'm shining. Oh,
Yeah.
this whole thing. Right. I on my live, not last night, but yesterday, I did my live in the afternoon, right, which wasn't so bad. We actually had a good turnout for my afternoon live.
I think 1 p.m. is a good time for you. I feel like it's 7. Some people are like dinner. I think 1 p.m. was pretty good.
Yeah. So, well, that means I have less time to prepare for it and write it, but it's okay.
Well-
I mean, because I'm not doing much of a script these days anyway. But I did talk about conferences and things like that. Some people were like, "Well, I've been in the business for many years now. What's the point going to these things? I'm not going to learn anything new." And the point that I was making, and this kind of segues to what we were doing last night as well. What you put into these conferences is what you're going to get out of them. All right? Everyone has different reasons why they go to these conferences. Sometimes it's to learn new things. Sometimes it's to level up. Sometimes it's to try out new gear. You go to the expo floor. You see all the software and all the tools that they have available for you, right? By the way, did Ro go shopping this week?
No.
No, but I do have a list. I do have a small list of things
Right.
that I have to pick up.
Right? Of course. You come back
course,
every year.
of
You come back every
course.
year with a shopping list, right? But, meeting people is a large part of why we do these things.
Yep.
And I was talking to my group yesterday. If it weren't for me going to PPA, WPPI, or Lens and Light, or any other conferences, right? The most clearest example of the things that I've gained from going to attending conferences was actually meeting the asset team. Big shout out to the asset team. They've helped us make a tremendous amount of money. And it wasn't because I sat in a workshop or I met them through social media or whatever. It was actually meeting with them in person, hearing about their story, hearing about what drives them, and hearing about what's important to them and how they can make our lives easier.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the magic of conferences that I'm trying to share with others. Other people think it's just like spring break for photographers, which is not untrue. It is spring break
Very,
for
very true.
photographers. But there's a large networking part of it, and
Yep.
that's a large reason why Karis and I, we also continue to do this even when we're not in Vegas. We attend WIPA, we attend Emerge, we attend all these other things to meet with other professionals, so that way we're learning from others, even if they're not in the same industry as we are. We're learning a lot from them, and we use that in our own businesses. We're getting inspiration from them and bringing that into our own business. Anyway, this is a really ranty intro.
No, I will say it's always a very good segue because I always see where you're going. I was like, I see where he's going with this segue into our guest.
All right, go ahead.
Is there a segue?
Is there a segue? The only thing I know about our guest today is that she's from a very wonderful venue who took great pains to make sure that me and the photography team, that we were well taken care of. That part was it was a core memory for me, okay? We'll put it that way. But yeah, it was a great experience working with them and their team. What about you guys?
So we've been with Cross Keys. Oh God, we did a wedding with them years ago, and then just kind of a few since they renovated. But we've become friends with Jess, her parents, the whole fam over there, and we'll be back there a few times this year. We're really excited.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about Carousel?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. I think I've been there with you when it was a farm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
One of our earlier weddings.
Way back in the day when it was like the tent.
Yep.
There was a tent,
Yes.
and also there was a big red wagon, or not a red wagon. It was like a red, like
Truck,
a
red
mater
truck.
truck.
Still there.
Yep.
It's still there.
Still
Yeah.
there. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but you can't get rid of that thing. That thing has to stay on that property until the end
It's a
of times.
symbol. Yep.
Yeah. On that note, are you guys ready to meet our guests? You guys ready to get this podcast started?
Yep.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Hey guys, welcome to the Focus AF podcast. My name is Ben,
This is Karis.
This is Jen.
And this is Ro.
and I'm not Focused AF. You guys probably are, but I'm not.
No,
focused.
you've
I'm
had pizza
trying to
and a
be.
sandwich by the morning. You're all over the place today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am all over the place. So why don't you guys give us a little intro of our guest?
Yeah. So we have Jess from Cross Keys, and I want actually Jess to introduce yourself, go through your whole background, give us like the Cross Keys history, give us everything you want us to know about you and your businesses.
Welcome to the podcast, Jess.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. My background, that's a lot of stuff. So right now, I am the florist at Cross Keys Estate. The floral side of the business is Cross Keys Designs. And my parents have owned Cross Keys Estate for 20 years.
Wow.
25 years. I started working there in 2011 after I graduated college. Back then it was a tented venue. And in 2019, we built the farmhouse for the 2020 season. COVID came.
Yeah.
And we really started using the farmhouse in 21. So we've really only been in that building for a few years. And then the conservatory was built in 23. So we had a lot of growth just in the last 5 years with buildings. And then on the floral side, we've had a lot of growth there as well. Every year it's more and more, obviously. The brides want more, the grooms want more. So we've built up our facility, we've built up our team. And that's the nutshell of what's going on at Cross Keys Estate. There's 8 billion other things, but I've been involved sort of in every aspect of the estate and the venue since 2011. I started with marketing and blogging and planning, and I've bartended. I've done everything. And now I'm really just focused on the floral. So that's me.
Amazing. No, so I remember the days of when you were doing like all the marketing, all the
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
And then as
Yes.
everything grew, you guys finally brought on like a team to handle all of
Yeah, I
it.
was like, I can't do all this by myself.
Mhm. Well, it's like a family-owned business. That's how it go. That's how it goes usually.
Yeah,
You know.
totally.
Do you grow the flowers on site?
We grow some flowers on site. The amount we do like 100 weddings a year now. So when we were in the
Hmm.
tent, we did like 30, and
Mhm.
we had enough flowers to do a lot. But now with 100 weddings, we need fields and fields. So
Yeah.
we grow
Wow.
some things, specialty like peonies, dahlias. We will often just cut things from the grounds because there is such a vast property and gardens that like if there's something unique growing, we'll cut it. But
Hmm.
we order a lot of stuff in because the volume is just so high.
I see.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I have noticed some of these arrangements getting larger and larger. You got these brides coming down the aisle with
Yeah.
basically a centerpiece, just like a
Hmm.
centerpiece coming.
Yes, they are
I can't. I,
huge.
I can't even see the bride, right?
Yeah, it's getting wilder and wilder every year.
I love
How
it.
did you get into the floral world? Was like that
I've always
always
been
your
into
thing?
art, so it was
Mhm.
kind of just like a natural transition. My mom decided to start the floral division probably around 2011. And eventually I don't like I got sucked into everything else, planning and everything else. I just somehow got sucked in there. And that's kind of just where I stayed while still doing some of the other aspects. But that's where I wanted to stay, you know?
Wow.
Yeah. And then who handles like everything else right now? Like what is the family dynamic now across
So Catherine, my mom, still oversees most things. My husband and I are sort of directly under her. My husband Kyle oversees operations, some sales aspects. He is the maitre d' at most of the weddings.
Mm-hmm.
So he's handling all that side. I am still overseeing marketing, but we have a marketing manager now. I also sometimes get involved in sales and all of those things, just like business decisions, you know. My dad is fake retired. He's still kind
Yeah.
of hangs around on
He's
the grounds doing
he's
things here
always
and there.
working.
They
He's
try to go to
always
Mexico
working.
in the winter. They try to go down the shore in the summer. So yeah, he's always doing something, but
Yeah.
he's fake retired.
Well,
And
how long has he been in the business? How long has he been in the
well,
business?
my parents started catering out of the basement of our house when I was like born. So I'm 38.
Oh
Uh-huh.
wow.
Yeah, so they've been doing this forever. And then
Uh-huh.
in 99, they were like, we just want one place because they were catering all over New Jersey. They were like, we just want one place to be doing this. So we're not running around.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And my mom was looking for something to make a wedding venue basically. And she found this old bed and breakfast with property. They bought that. That was called Cross Keys Inn at the time because it was a bed and breakfast. And we took that. And as we continued to grow and we bought an actual inn down the road, we changed the name to Cross Keys Estate. The new inn became Cross Keys Inn. And that was sort of the development. So they've been there forever and they've been living on the property probably 18 years.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
it's really their home now. You know, my brother and I kind of grew up running around there and having parties and all
Of
that fun
course.
stuff. So it's really
Of
like part of
course.
our
Yeah.
upbringing, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's so
Yeah.
cool.
The reason why
Hmm.
I ask this is because, a lot of times when you have family-owned businesses or when you have entrepreneurs in the family, they've been working that hard for so long, they don't know how to retire. My father-in-law and my dad, both, they're supposed to be retired. But you'll find my father-in-law, he's gardening, he's fixing up our house when we don't ask him to. I was like, Dad, get off the roof. We can afford a roofer. You don't have to be on the roof. Get off the roof, right? My dad, after I think the day after he retired, he was a wholesaler, right, for meats, and the day after he retired, he got an Uber app and started driving Uber, right? I was like, he's not doing it for the money. He's doing it because he doesn't want to go home. He doesn't want to be at home all day. And he's getting to talk to people. That's the only reason why he's doing it. That's what he's doing for retirement. He's driving Uber. And you know what the funny thing is, Jess? After about 6 months of driving Uber, he became the number one Uber driver in terms of revenue in the city of Baltimore. He
He
became the
never
number
goes
one.
home.
You gotta have goals.
I was
That's
like,
great.
that's not a retirement, but whatever. Whatever makes you happy. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
That's
good that he's
amazing.
active though. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't want to be at home when I retire. I don't want to just sit at home and do
Yeah,
nothing.
there's
That's the
no
thing.
retirement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like what are you gonna do if you can physically still be moving around? Why not?
Right.
So, and you mentioned like you and your brother like ran around the properties. Now
Mhm.
your little ones are running around the properties.
They sure are. It is. They just call it the farm. Anytime I'm
Uh-huh.
like cross keys, they're like, "What is that?" So yeah, they're constantly running around. They have
How,
been known to help me on a wedding day.
aw. How old are they?
Aw.
How old are
They
they?
are 7, almost 6, and 3.
7,
Oh,
6, and
7, 6, and 3.
3.
Yeah, 7, 6,
Yeah,
and 3.
almost
Oh,
4.
they're pretty
Everybody's
close.
like,
They're pretty close in age.
yeah,
All boys, all girls, a little mix.
all boys. So
Oh boy.
basically, between 2017 and 2021, we were having babies. All boys. Oh yeah. Who have boys?
We have 2 boys.
Anybody?
we have
Oh
two
yeah.
But our
It's
boys are
not for the weak.
we're very lucky. Our boys are very fearful of authority.
Oh.
They are afraid of getting hurt. They're afraid of heights, all of them. So like they don't climb things. They
They're
don't
just
get into
afraid.
things. They're very
That's
fearful.
nice.
They're very fearful boys. So that's
They're
good.
very cautious. They're very careful.
Wow.
They
I
ask
wish.
before anything. They ask, can I have ice cream? Can I eat this? Can I have this? I'm like, you're 14.
That's so cute.
Stop asking me.
If you want an ice cream, go get an ice cream. If you want an ice
Oh
cream,
my
no one's
gosh.
stopping you.
Yep,
No,
they
that's not
still
happening
do.
in my
Yep.
house at all. Be cool if it was, but that is not the case. We are jumping on everything we can find.
Oh my
Are
god.
there animals in the house? Are there animals?
No.
Okay.
We cannot handle more things in this house. We had a cat when my second son was born, and we were like, my first is enough that he was like pulling the cat's tail, yelling, whatever. And I was like,
Oh.
we got to give this cat a new home. This is not the
Yeah.
life for this cat.
Aw.
No, you can have the
So-
cat go on the farm and be a mouser.
They exist already. They run amok because there's all the local farms nearby. So there's
The
farm
cats?
cats.
Oh, there's a lot of
Yeah.
farm cats. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like 2 that regularly visit us.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's cool.
Mhm.
It's like a bodega cat, you know? It's like you need to
Yes.
have
It's
cats.
like you're just here. You're part of the situation. It's fine. Welcome.
So tell us, how are you managing all the things with 3 little
Um,
boys and cross?
I love this question because who's really managing anything?
We're just getting by.
She's wearing gym shorts right now, okay?
I'm
I'm
because I
kidding.
need to be comfy at all times. But I'm currently wearing my pajama pants. I only be changed by top. I don't know. We have help. We work 6 to 7 days a week sometimes. So because of that, it's like, well, on a Monday and Tuesday, maybe I'm working. Maybe I'm not working on a Monday, hopefully. But I'm stopping early. I'm stopping at 2. I'll go pick the kids up. And then the rest of the week, as we get closer to weddings, it's like, well, I can't. So my mother-in-law helps. We have a great babysitter. My parents sometimes will help. So, you just do the best you can. And every year is different. These kids, they change like every 6 months. So you're adjusting to a new thing, a new schedule, a new whatever. So it's like, you just got to go with the flow.
Yeah.
What can you do?
Wait until the hormones come.
Just getting close to 8, the attitude. I'm like, what just happened? Who are you talking to? What's happening?
Who do you think you're talking to?
Also, Kyle and I are so sassy that I'm like, this is from us. So we made this. We made this happen. So we didn't try to stop this earlier.
You know what you did. You know what you did. Right?
Yeah, I take full responsibility.
But
Yeah.
I can't stress enough the importance of having a good infrastructure, having help. When you're trying to run a business and trying to maintain some semblance of work-life balance and just having some type of family life. Big kudos to a lot of the folks who are doing this without help. Like Karis and I, we have a little help. Well, actually not a little help, a lot of help. My in-laws, they live with us. So, they're helping us with pickup and drop-offs. They're helping us with grocery shopping and stuff like that. So that way we can focus on our business. A lot of other folks, they don't have that luxury. You know what I mean? Like we have friends that have kids and stuff like that. They have help too, whether they hired them or have them living in the house or have family members down the street. There's help, right? But the folks, some of the other folks, they don't. And I could see like how hard it can be. I know how hard it can be, you know,
Especially in this
yeah.
industry where you're working weekends, you know,
Yeah.
and
and
that's
nights.
normally the time that you have with your kids.
Yes, long hours too. We work.
Mhm.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And in the
exhausting.
nights, in the evenings as well, because that's when a lot of the sales calls are happening, right? If we
Right.
don't have a
Yeah.
sales team,
Like dinner times.
and I don't know if your boys are in sports or anything like that. A lot of that stuff happens on the weekends. You know what I mean?
I
So
know we're just starting that because I've been hesitant to start because I'm like, who's going to take them to these games? How are we
Yep.
going to do this?
Mhm.
And we're going to try it now and see how it goes. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I remember I had to request all Fridays off for the month of May and June because I knew that there were track meets on those days. So I was like, I know it's still a year and a half out, but like I need to show up to these things.
Yep.
Can't have us not there because another one of our guests, Ben Davis, we'll give him a shout out, right? He was like, once they get to a certain age when they're doing these things, actually you should be there all the time. But, you start counting, all right, how many more Christmases do I have with this kid until they go off to college and they start, not coming home for Thanksgiving, they're going somewhere else for their Friendsgiving instead. You know what I mean? That's really sad when you think about it,
So
right?
sad.
It'll make parents cry.
I know. I look at them all the time, and even though they're young, I look at them and like, oh, you're a teenager. Like we're basically there, even though
Uh-huh.
it's still 7
Yeah.
years off or whatever. It's just like, oh, I can look at you and see where this is going, and it's scary because it does feel like it's a blink.
Yeah.
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 We only have, I think, 3 more years with Aiden, and he's off to college and stuff, So, yeah, I remember when we just sent him away to Europe a month ago, 2 months ago. We're still very much helicopter parents. We put like a Find My phone on him. We're like, all right now he's at the Starbucks. Oh, right now he's at this intersection. It looks like he's at a hot dog stand or something, But and then we're just watching him from afar. But
absolutely, I'd be terrified.
Yeah. You need to.
A parental anxiety never ends. A parental anxiety never ends.
Mm.
Yeah.
I see it in my own parents. It's like we're still worried.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay, I'm a full grown adult. We're gonna be okay.
So I see here in the notes, are you teaching folks how to do florals?
Oh no, I wanted her. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm not.
No, I wanted her to give us an education on florals.
Okay.
Oh,
And
okay.
this is one of the reasons why I brought you on. So just so you know, Jess, we bring on not just photographers, but vendors of all types to kind of. We don't know much about each other's industries, right? Like, I can go to a bride and be like, they charge you $5,000 for florals, but that's crazy. But not knowing what happens behind the scenes. So I think what would be super helpful for us, for listeners, for brides, just to start giving us an education on the floral industry, how that works, why things cost the way they do, everything that you want everyone to know.
Sure. There's so many things that I want everyone to know, but we're probably it's what's really hard is, well, let's start with this. I'm in a unique position in that I'm not an outside florist that takes jobs wherever and does whatever, and you're coming to me and picking me and hiring me. So a lot of wedding florists will have a minimum or something, and it's like, oh, it's my minimum's $9,000. That's what you signed up for. You know the deal. But with me, I try to be as flexible as I can because you didn't get to choose me. Most of the clients who book Cross Keys Estate know that I'm the florist. They're very happy to have me as a florist. Shout out to them. Thank you for trusting me. But some people come to me with a budget of $3,000 and some people come to me with a budget of $40,000. So it's like, it's a positive thing for us because we have to be able to do everything, every kind of style. An outside florist has their style. That's what you signed up for. That's what you hired them for. We're flexible and we have to know everything. So it's a strength of ours, honestly. And I just feel like because of that, we educate our clients a lot on, well, here's why you're going to get this for $5,000 versus these pictures you're showing me.
Yes.
And even the $40,000 client is like, well, I gave you these images and you gave me a proposal for $80,000. I'm like, well, because that's what you asked for. So how do we get back down to 40? Now I have to educate you on how we're going to get back down to 40. So in general, there's a lot of things on the internet that are telling you this is cheap, that's cheap. It all depends on the volume. And you can tell me greenery is cheap, but then if you want an entire wedding of greenery hanging from the ceiling and everywhere else, like, it's not going to be that cheap, babe. A baby's breath too. It's like, oh, baby's breath is cheap. Yes. It is cheap, but this baby's breath versus this rose, I need 30 stems of this to fill this same space. So like, what are we talking about? That's a common thing I have to tell people. Like, whatever you think is cheap is only cheap in a certain way, right?
Yeah.
It's only cheap if I make it look a certain way, if it's less of that thing. Going in with preconceived notions sometimes is not the best, because they're like, well, why are you giving me this proposal that's twice what I asked for? Because that's what you want, you know? So education is hard for that reason. There's so many different types of flowers. There's so many different types of styles, and they all require different labor. In general, the market is like, whatever I pay for flowers, I'm charging you 4 times that cost. So if this rose costs me $2, it costs you $8, and you need 800 of them, you know? That's how quickly it all adds up.
Right.
Yep.
So that's the cost thing.
Yep.
What is the whole background process from like, okay, let's just give me an idea. You have the design that you're going to go with. What is the process? Walk us step by step of what that process looks like between like meeting with the client, ordering, taking care of the flowers, setting up the flowers.
Yeah. So because of what we do, I ask clients specifically, like, send me your inspiration images, and so I can get an idea of what you like and what you don't like. Then we have like a 2-hour-long meeting sometimes. Sometimes it takes 20 minutes, but more often than not, it takes 2 hours. And we go through every single thing, because I want to know that the thing I'm delivering you is exactly what you want. And we do it thoroughly the first time, so we don't have to do it again 7 times. And I want clarity on, you like this pink versus that pink. So we really deep dive. I drop an entire proposal for them of every single item they want, and then we go through that as needed. Well, I got to cut here, I got to cut there. They see all the options that way, and that way they can cut where they're comfortable and determine what their priorities are. After everything's settled, after weeks of chatting, we take the recipes that are built into our system, and I order the flowers. So that's a whole other process of, this is my list of flowers, but you can't get me this one thing. So now we have to substitute, and I have to be on the phone with you. And then I have to be thinking about, is this the right shade that I'm substituting for? That is a whole job. It's crazy. And the time it takes. Like, when I look at my schedule for the week and I'm like, I have to get to my computer to email, I don't even know when I'm going to do that. It's because like every day is a chunk of this process. So we order like 2 weeks out usually. And then from there, I'm going back and forth with a wholesaler on, we can't get this, we can't get that. Let's change this, let's change that. Or this thing is coming late. Do we need to get something else? That happens a lot. Then the flowers come. We have a team that processes them. They open every single box, have to pull every single stem, clean them, check if it's good or not. When it's bad, we have to replace it. And sometimes, you know, sometimes we can get it credited, sometimes we can't. Sometimes there's just a loss. It is what it is. Everything's prepped. It gets hydrated. It sits there, and we start designing. That's the rest of the week until setup day. I'm kind of in and out, checking on the designs and overseeing. I make the bouquets. The rest of the team pretty much makes everything else unless they need my assistance. Then there's setup days. Outside of designers, there's a whole hard goods team that just handles candles and cleaning things and all of that. I mean, the candles itself they take a whole day or two to clean and prep candles.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's 3 to 4 of them doing that. Like, it's not a simple task. So that's the general rough situation. And then we set up, and it usually takes anywhere from 5 to 8 hours, depending on the volume of the wedding.
Yeah.
Oh my God. So how many hours do you think on like per wedding?
Because sometimes, like, I am now going on a 3rd Zoom with a client to nail down everything they want and how it looks and all of that. Sometimes I'm on the phone with a mom, and then I got to have a separate phone call with the daughter. And so those hours, I'm not even bothering to calculate. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, exactly.
Ben loves moms.
Just the emailing. If I have 40 emails with one client and I have 2 with another, it balances. It balances out.
I know exactly what you mean. How are your hands handling all those flowers?
It's honestly my neck, because you're always like this. And I find after I'm making all those bouquets, I'm like, oh, my neck really hurts. So I gotta work on that. But my hands are okay. I don't do a ton of the little like the boutonnieres and the corsages. Those can take a toll on your hands.
I'm thinking
Like
about
my
the thorns, a lot of the thorns and the prickly things that you have to handle, you know?
Only some things really get us in the end, and it's usually like a weird greenery or something because all the roses get cleaned. Everything else gets cleaned of thorns, but there are some things that are a little spiky. But we have gloves.
Yeah.
They're rough.
Fun
It
fact,
is what it is.
Melinas, did you know before photography, we were exploring a career
Florist.
in florals? Did you know that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I think you may have mentioned this somewhere. Yep.
Yeah, you
Yep.
did. I think you told us about this.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
were,
And then
we were,
you're like, no, thank you at all.
This
we,
was earlier in our marriage, before kids, and then I think I got pregnant during
Hmm.
flower shop. Yep.
yeah.
So my dad's mother's brother owns a flower shop in the city.
Mm-hmm.
So, and his daughter was running it and she was going to retire. So at the time, I think I was not working. This was soon after our wedding and I was like in between jobs. So my dad's like, "Oh, do you guys want to like try it out and like, try to like take over the flower shop, right? Because it's like in like it's in like Midtown, really busy area."
It's near Columbus Circle, so it was a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah.
It
Really, yep.
was,
Very, very busy flower
it's been
shop.
around for a
So
while. Yeah, it's been
yep.
around for a while. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let's try it. So I started like, commuting to the flower shop every day, trying to learn from her. And I think I must have worked there for maybe like a good half a year to what year at least. And then yeah, and then they decided not to sell the flower shop. And they just like
They were
dropped
just
us.
looking
I
for
was
an
like,
employee.
yeah, they're like, maybe we need to do this for a little longer. I was like,
It wasn't meant to
I
be.
was, yeah. So I was like, I don't need to work here then. So
And during that time, I was learning how to cook pho. I was going to open a pho restaurant. Did you know that?
Oh,
so
cool. No.
many things. Yep.
No.
No. Oh, the Melinas don't know this. This is new information
No.
for them as well.
I can't even imagine if you owned a pho place.
You would eat all of it.
Yeah.
That's Ben as a chef, or even no.
You see, the thing is, I'm very generous with my ingredients as a restaurateur. You can't be that generous.
Right.
You know, you have margins you have to keep. But in
Yeah.
any case, for about a year, 2 years, I was making this broth at home, and the whole place smelled marvelous. You know, and I don't and. Yeah, I should share this with you, right? And I'll tell you, this is the reason why I have problems with banks, right? So I was still,
Totally segueing right now to something.
yeah.
Can't
So
wait to see how we get here.
so while I was at the chicken factory, or I was working at the chicken factory, we were trying to find business ideas. The flower shop was one of them that we were exploring. The other one was this pho restaurant. So I was learning how to make this thing. After the chicken factory, I would take off my work clothes, put on a suit, and go to banks all around New Jersey, Maryland, like everywhere. And I think in the course of 30 days, I went to 50 banks. They all said no. And I didn't even really want to borrow that much money. I wanted to borrow like maybe 100,000 just to get us off just get us started. And they're like, nope, we need collateral. I was like, well, our family, we have real estate. Maybe you guys can collateralize that. They're like, no, we don't want real estate. We want cash. I was like, listen, if I have $100,000 cash, you think I would be coming to you guys to ask for it? So and I had this beautiful business plan. I went to the SBA and they signed off on it. Hey, listen, if Ben doesn't pay this off, we'll cover 95% of it. So you guys would only be on the hook for 5%. I was like, I got the 5%, right? But I don't have the whole thing. So anyway, the bank still wouldn't lend me the money. It was so stupid. They wanted to collateralize cash, right? I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. So that's why I don't like banks.
Good job.
Yeah, I'll show them, right? I'll show them. So what are the current trends that you're seeing with florals and like what the couples are doing these days with their flowers?
This year, it's a lot of funky stuff, a lot of whimsical, woodlandy, moss stuff. That's the biggest trend I'm seeing with our clients. It's something that feels a little magical, but still like luxe. And fullness has really been, minimalism still exists, obviously, but like I think we're trending more towards like abundance.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we'll kind of circle back to minimalism, but I'm seeing a lot more abundance lately than I was previously. just really full arrangements.
Art, like drapes, part of
Yes.
your.
So no, I'm not doing them. That's why I'm rolling my eyes, because our building is difficult because the ceilings are so high. So to me, it's just kind of like not making sense in our space. But yes, it's definitely a thing. My clients are less like needing it. I have a few that are really interested, but they're more focused on the floral. And I think too, a lot of my clients just feel like, well, the venue's so pretty, like I don't need to be doing so much.
Yeah.
Like, that's why we chose the venue, because it was pretty. So definitely a thing, but it's like this at the estate.
And drapes are so expensive. We were looking at them for our vow renewal, and they were like, "Oh, it's
Holy
like
shit.
$1,500 to hang a piece of fabric."
I was like,
Absolutely.
okay, we're not doing that.
It's wild.
Hey,
And I
Melinas,
tried, honestly.
Melina's, it's $6,000 to push a button. Okay.
No. There's also a misconception about candles. People think candles
Oh my gosh,
are
I
like
know.
cheap, and we'll just do extra candles. Well, you better have extra money to do
Right.
those extra candles.
Well, it's like, because I'm going to Michael's and I see that a candle costs $3 over here or whatever. So why am I being charged this? Well, you're not cleaning the candle and breaking the glass that I then have to replace and all those things. So yeah.
It's so much more. Do you find that like people are choosing that more whimsical aesthetic because of the style of the venue? Or do people come in and want like a look that would not fit the aesthetic?
There's really no look that doesn't fit. Most people are going for like gardeny because of the property. The funkier stuff doesn't not fit, but it's not necessarily like the English gardeny vibe that's happening outside. So it is a little different, but no, there's not too much that doesn't. I mean, to me, stuff that doesn't fit is like stuff that's not even floral. Floral's going to fit no matter where you go, kind of. It's decor stuff. It's like, if you're suddenly telling me you want a balloon arch in here, maybe not the vibe, you know?
Have you had that?
A balloon.
No. We are doing, we don't normally do events other than weddings, but once in a while for like a past client or something, we'll do like a baby shower or whatever. So we're doing a birthday party this year. And they might have some balloons, so we'll see how that looks. But it's appropriate because it's a birthday party.
100%.
Gonna do
100%.
the whole window on the farmhouse.
Oh my God,
like
imagine.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
yep.
my gosh. So you've been doing florals for how many years now?
14.
14. And was it all just learning out in the field? No pun intended. Actually, yeah, I intended that pun, right?
Yeah,
But
it was. A lot of floral is like the colors and being able to put the colors together. And then learning the flowers is really all that's left. Learning the floral and how the flowers need to live is really all that's left, right? If you can have a general design eye, that's really what's left to learn. So I learned under a florist who had been working in the industry for like 20 years, and then took some classes and things like that. But that was really it. And then we were off and running. Back then when I was learning, it was like mason jars. So it really wasn't that challenging. So every year,
mason jars and burlap, right?
I'm so triggered when someone gives me something that's looking a little too rustic. I'm like, oh God, mason jars. Or like burlap. Yeah, it hurts my
You're like,
heart
we're not
when
going to do
someone
this.
says
Let's look at other options.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you sure?
How far are you from Sussex? Like
I'm like 35 minutes. I live in Booton.
So our we have one of our photographers on our team. His family, they own one of the big nurseries out there. I wasn't sure if you guys may have done business together.
Which one?
Couperis, the Couperis nursery.
I don't know.
Yeah. So anyway, his family, they've been in that business for so long, landscaping and florals and stuff like that. So he has his own podcast about flowers and things.
Cool.
I was like, what a nerd, right? You can talk about flowers for an hour, right? But I guess he has an audience. He has sponsors and things like that, right?
That's
so good for
awesome.
you.
Okay, I'll go listen.
Just for a whole hour, just talking about flowers.
Yeah, we've been talking about flowers for a million years. There's 8 billion varieties of flowers.
I was like,
why not?
And he knows every single one. He can identify the flower.
And he's not just doing flowers. He's doing like corporate, like landscapes, trees, like
Oh yeah.
He knows every variety of trees, plants, how much water they need, how much sun they need.
Yeah, that's a whole world. I am not a gardener. but I
Trees,
can
yeah.
mess around with some dead cut flowers. And I'm going to try to start gardening this year. We're actually trying to start a garden outside of our new barn facility.
That's cool.
See how we do. Yeah.
Yeah. You want to hear something funny? There was one year I forgot Karis's favorite flower. So she's like, you don't remember my favorite flower? By the way, it's a sunflower. I've never forgotten since, right? So after that year, I started planting 250.
Maybe it's changed now.
I was just going to say, are you sure? Like
Maybe I should change that now.
But in any case, so I planted like 200, 300 sunflowers on our property. And we had every inch of soil had sunflowers coming out of them, right? Of our house. And the thing about sunflowers is that they come back every year.
and then they get really messy because of the heat.
Yeah.
And then the squirrels come.
And the squirrels come.
Yep. Oh my
Yeah, the deer actually ate ours this year, which I was shocked because they never
What?
did before. But
yeah.
Yeah.
They get really ugly. Oh.
I'm into
You're
it.
welcome.
I kinda like
You're
they
welcome.
look
You're
cool.
welcome. Yeah, you're
That's his
welcome.
love language, planting you sunflowers that don't go away.
My love
Where
for
do
you
you
are
get-
like these sunflowers. They never go away.
Where do you get your flowers from wholesale? Because I'm just like imagining, like for us, like everything's in house. We don't have to rely on
Sourcing anything.
somebody else for
Yeah.
anything, and that gives me so much anxiety of like worrying about flower. And then I'm sure during COVID that was another.
That
It's
was a
it's just like
whole-
finding second shooters and associates. You got to outsource some of this stuff.
I still
right?
don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's we have like anywhere from really I try to stay with like 2 to 3 companies that I'm using because more than that is like I can almost not handle the 2 to 3. So and they get flowers from all over the world. So and a lot of flowers are shipped to us. Two of our wholesalers deliver them locally. So but there's like 8,000 people to order flowers from now. The way the world is, we can order flowers directly from farms. Like there's a lot of options if you have the time and energy to research and look for them.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty like loyal to the ones I've been using.
That's good.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially
Have
when
you
you
had
have
any,
those
like-
relationships. Sorry. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
exactly.
Yeah. Have you had any issues with sourcing like the week of the wedding? Give us like a nightmare situation you've had.
You know what? Nothing. I'm like, I love when people ask me, like, what's the worst thing you've ever seen at a wedding or blah, blah. I'm like, nothing really phases me at this point. The nature of flowers is that, like, they could die. It could be too hot out and the box wasn't in the air conditioning properly and they're going to show up to me dead. Or they were FedExed from Miami and the heat killed them. Or anything can go wrong at any point. So it's like, we'll survive. Most of my clients are not so picky that we can't substitute something. And that's all in my contract. Flowers are natural. They die. There's only so much I can control.
Does it make you angry or sad that when you're there at the reception and the whole wedding party comes in and they're throwing it around like a football and spiking it onto the crowd?
That is, you know what? I've gotten over that one because at least it's like if you took the pretty pictures and whatever, but it's the aisle markers. When guests blatantly see the aisle markers and they're like, you know what? I'm just gonna step right over this.
Oh
We're
my
like,
God.
you could have gone the other way. We watch sometimes in horror, like. You even look the guest. You see the guest looking like I could go that way, but I'm going to climb over this floral arrangement instead.
Knock over the candles.
Yep.
Although I would probably do the same thing, so I can't really blame them. And also, we'll all survive.
Yeah. I got yelled at by a florist one time because I have to photograph these things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not that I have to, but I do it because I'm a team player and I photograph things for the other vendors. So whether it's the dress, invitations, florals, all that stuff, right? So I'm photographing the florals, the bouquet, and I'm standing it upright on a chair, like a sofa chair or whatever.
I want to know if this is the same guy that yelled at me. Keep going.
He was I was very gentle with it, right? By the way, the name of this florist starts with the letter A. Okay, so
It's not the same
yeah.
guy.
I think he was an Eastern European guy or something like that. He was an Eastern European guy. But in any case, I had it like the florals came and I was starting to work on it. He comes in and yells at me in front of the wedding party. He's like, "Do not handle the flowers like that," right? I was like, like at that point, I'd been shooting weddings for like 10 years. I never got yelled at like that before, right? And I'm like, it's literally like that, like the flower, the way that I have it arranged. It's like maybe for about 30 seconds while I photograph it, then it goes back in the vase. You know what I mean? But I wasn't sure. I don't know. Was I
Yes.
being improper with the
No.
flowers?
No.
That's crazy. First of all, once it leaves my hands, it's like it's in God's hands now. Like
Yeah.
the bride could just drop it. Like anything could happen. What am I gonna do?
Right.
Melina,
Silly.
share your story. I think it was something similar,
This
right?
is funny.
Yeah, we were at Wave Resort, and I think he yelled at me for putting it
No,
on the
so
chair.
first, Jason from LPS had warned us because he got scolded already, and he did it again, and we had just arrived, and this florist goes up to the videographer. He goes, "Didn't I tell you not to handle the florals this way?" He was like, I literally just told you this, and he was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, whatever." So then he looks at us. He goes, "Yeah, be careful around him." So later on, I think Jen had grabbed it and placed it down, and he was like, "I assure you, if you handle it this way, it's not going to look good in your photos." And he was like, "Do you want them to look terrible in your photos?" And he went on this rant, and we were like, "All right, we're not touching this bouquet anymore. Like, somebody else is going to have to hold it because I don't want any smoke with this guy." But it was crazy. He was serious about his florals.
I don't even understand. Like, why is he still there and watching?
Yeah,
you?
I'm like,
What
he's
is he
following
doing?
you
Like,
guys
I'm busy.
around?
I'm not watching what you're doing.
We were in the balcony of Wave Resort doing the first look, then doing portraits. He came out from inside onto the balcony to scold me.
Oh
I put
my
them on the
God.
floor. And then funny that this past weekend we did a
worked with
wedding.
him,
And Rose like, that's the guy who yelled at you. I was like, oh. I mean, he does amazing work. He's great, but like
He's just passionate about his.
Yeah. He doesn't want nobody messing up his stuff. I'm like, all right, cool.
Okay,
I should try that line. I was like, I can assure you, if we stand in this light, you're not going to like the photos. Okay, the
actually
photos
like
are going to
that.
look terrible.
I think that
Okay.
that applies to photos.
Yeah, he told us, "I assure you, it's gonna look horrible in your photos." And like for me, I don't know anything about florals, but it looks the same to me if I place it on the floor or.
Okay.
I took the picture, and I assure you, it looks good. So like,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah,
Oh
he was
my
intense.
goodness.
Yeah.
So my biggest question people want to know is, what happens to the flowers at the end of the night?
The guests don't take them home. I mean, the guests should take them home, right?
They don't anymore the way they
Yeah.
used to. So like what's hard is clients don't want to pay for a vase. We rent them, and they don't want to pay for a vase for people to take the vase home with them. Fine. So then if somebody does want to take flowers, we are either trying to wrap it up for them the best we can, because it's in like floral foam most of the time. Some florists don't even use floral foam, so you're not taking anything home without this vase. But and then a lot of people do bud vases. You're not taking those home.
Yeah.
So
What kind of vases?
bud vases, when it's just like an individual little stem
Small little ones.
in a little tiny bottle.
Yeah.
Like if they didn't pay for the bottle, then like they rented it. You can't take this thing home. You could pull the flowers out, but it's like so whack. Like, why am I doing this at the end of the wedding?
Yeah.
So
Just walking around with the floor in your hand.
like more power to you, but it's not fun. It's not like cute.
But once you started spending that kind of money for all those centerpieces, right? How much are you charging for a vase that they're not? It can't be that much.
Maximum $20 for most.
Are
of the
you
vases
serious?
I'm serious. I'm serious. So most people don't even think to ask me like, oh, how much is it? Can I get a quote? Most of them are just like, whatever, don't care. I'm just here for a pretty situation. My guests can do what they need to do. But then most of the time when people do ask that and I quote them on the vase, they're like, no, thanks. I don't want to buy it. Yeah, it's really not that much. I mean,
in the grand scheme of things, right? You got
I
20
agree, in the
tables.
grand scheme.
20
But-
tables,
Yeah.
$400. It's grand. What are you paying for this wedding? $400 is not. Yeah.
Let the guests take the flowers.
But then
Yeah.
you know what it is too? Now everybody's from all over the place. Am I taking this vase of flowers back to my hotel room, then back into my car, then back to whatever state I'm driving to? Like a lot of people don't even want to be bothered, which is sad.
Bring it to
But
bring it to the airport. Put it through security.
well, yeah, that's the other thing. If you're flying, you're certainly not taking these flowers home with you. So this year we're actually trying to donate as much as we can to a local nursing home. But that proves challenging too, because
There's labor involved in that too.
the labor involved in it, but a lot like the flowers sit overnight. Like my team is not going back to collect them that night. They come the next morning. The flowers are sitting sometimes in a dry, warm overnight space. By the time we get to them, they're not all still perky like they were.
Yeah.
So that is also, it's like they end up in the garbage, sadly. It's not
Yeah.
fun. I don't love it.
Oh yeah, our bride last week at Florentine, she did a donation service, which I thought was really cool.
But it's not cheap.
But it's not cheap.
It's expensive.
Not, you pay for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess they had to disperse to like nursing homes, children's hospitals, a bunch of other little places. But and another bride this weekend told us that she had inquired about it. It was like $900 to donate.
Yeah.
So she was like, no thanks, I'm not gonna do it.
That's the thing. You don't want to pay somebody the labor to do it, but you also don't want them to go in the garbage. Like, you got to choose.
Yeah.
But you guys are in-house. You guys are in-house, so you have the luxury of coming the following morning to clean up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not have to sit in a van outside till
just wait until everyone leaves, and then you go in there and start cleaning up.
Yeah, I don't even know what normal florists do, because we are so outside the norm that.
They sit in their van.
I mean, I've done offsite weddings and gone to pick up the stuff at the end of the night. Like, that's not super fun. So happy to not do that, but
so you don't have too many like horror stories, but do you have one that like something that was very memorable, something that was like, oh my god, this is the highlight of my career, this is pretty awesome?
Besides Beyonce, which I know everybody always wants to talk about.
I see it in my notes, but I don't know what that means.
We have no idea what this is about.
That Beyonce was at a wedding. Beyonce and Jay-Z were at a wedding this past summer at Cross Keys.
Okay.
And
did they have their people? Did they have their people surrounding them? Like,
it was not at all what I thought it was going to be. I was like, oh my, this is going to be a big to-do. That we're going to have to lock everything up. We're going to have to sign NDAs. Not at all. Not at all.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. So the couple who got married it's Jay-Z's nephew. And we didn't know this when they booked. We didn't know, our marketing manager at the time, just stalking our couples like normal. And she was like, something's up here. I think this is Jay-Z's nephew. And we were like, cool. Then I start panicking, like, oh my God, is Beyonce coming? Beyonce's not coming. She's not going to come to this. What are you talking about? They're not coming. It's fine. We don't have to.
They don't have time for a wedding.
Then I meet with the couple for floral. And at the end of our floral meeting, meanwhile, I know this information. I'm just trying to be normal. Meanwhile, Beyonce's the background of my phone from the concert the previous year. So I'm like, I got to hide this now. And pretend I'm normal. And at the end of our meeting, they're like, so have you ever had celebrities here before? And I was like, oh no, here it comes. And
you're like,
they were like, well, we started kind of talking about like not having phones and locking the phones up and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, something's happening. It's happening. Then I'm like, okay, I have to coordinate this wedding now because it's going to require multiple of us. And I don't normally do that anymore. I do it like maybe once a year if needed. And I start working with them. I'm looking at the guest list. I see things happening in there. And I'm like, oh no, things are happening. So then I'm noticing, I'm like, wait a minute, who's at this table with Beyonce? And then I'm like, oh wait, this is Kelly Rowland. And I'm like, okay, cool. Normal. Then I get a phone call from the groom. Hey, we got to add some kids. And I'm like, oh, it's Beyonce's kids. Oh, this is happening. Oh, things are happening. And just full panic inside. And so all the lead up to it, I was just like, oh my God, it's happening. And then we got there and I was like, even the day before, the groom was like, my mom wants to talk to you. I was like, oh no, this is it. I'm getting an NDA, whatever. She calls, she's FaceTimes, and she's like, the dress code for this wedding was the bride and groom wore black. All the guests were supposed to wear white. So I get a phone call from the mom. You don't let anybody in here who's not wearing white. I don't care what you have to do. That's all it was about. And I was like, oh, no NDAs, no nothing. I'm not getting to talk about Beyonce. Cool. And everything was so utterly normal. Can I tell you, besides the fact that we had to take phones from people, it was just like, oh, my brother's running late. I was like, who's your brother? Jay-Z. And I was like, oh, I was supposed to know that. Sorry. It was just so normal. And
John Carter.
Yeah. And the couple and the families are just like lovely. It was just beyond anything wedding wise I've experienced, because it really was like the room was full of love. You know, when you get a wedding where it's like, this is the vibe. This is how all weddings should be.
That's awesome.
That's how it was. It was so nice. Obsessed with this couple forever.
Wow. So the staff, all the phones had to be locked up. The staff phones had to be locked up. What about the guests?
All the guest phones except Beyonce, Jay-Z, maybe Kelly. I don't know. I think Kelly gave her phone, but it was it was. Oh my God! And then I'm standing there getting ready to like line up the bridal party, whatever. They show up, roll out the car, and I see Miss Tina Knowles, Beyonce's mother, come out of the car. She wasn't on the guest list. And I'm like, okay, there's a lot of people here. A lot of people I'm obsessed with. Okay, calm down. I like couldn't even look in their direction. I was trying to
she
do
wearing
my job.
white?
Everyone was wearing white.
Okay.
Wow.
But like
Now
there
you can't
are
come
certain
in.
but there are certain key. I imagine there are certain key people that would need to have their phones, right? Like the photographer, like the vendor, people like the vendors. No, not even the photographer or like you would need your phone just to make sure everything.
Yes, we were allowed to keep our phone. We were allowed to film some stuff for social. But then the thing of it was, in the end, like the Shade Room or whatever got a hold of an image of them at this wedding anyway. So then it was out in the world, and it was like no big deal.
Yeah.
So it was on by then. Now I have a framed photo of Beyonce on my desk, and that's
Love it.
I love that. It was
like,
like a low key.
It was
chill
it was honestly so fun and nice, but it was like a normal wedding. There was chaos. People didn't know where to sit. I had to ask Beyonce to go sit at her right table because she was at the wrong table. Like it was normal. It was business as usual.
But
you're like dying inside Miss Beyonce.
But you know who she is, so you go like, "Excuse me, Miss Knowles."
First of all, I blacked out, so whatever I'm about to say may not be verbatim because I don't remember. But it was basically like, "Excuse me, Miss or Ma'am," you know what I mean? It was like, I think you're at the wrong table. And then it was just like a blank stare. And I was like, you're at table 15. And then it was a whole conversation about Jay-Z's grandma and what table is she at. And I was just like, I don't know, ma'am, but you're at table 15. That's all. And I walked away and continued on with my job because
so you were actually you were this close to Beyonce's face. You're actually conversating with her. Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, I blacked out. And I just pretended this was a normal person. She was very normal. They were all very normal.
I love that. Like, and you would think like for a high like key wedding like that it would be like, I don't know, too bougie and like personalities.
It was so
and, like,
yeah, no. It was so chill.
That's really nice. That's really refreshing. Really refreshing to know.
And then you do a regular schmegular wedding, and then that's when you have all the drama.
The families were. It was just a normal wedding, and the families were like so amazing and so nice. They're they're like while Jay-Z is from Brooklyn, like the family moved to New Jersey at some point, and they're just like, we're just normal Jersey folks, and we're hanging out. And
they're in Jersey now. I know he's from Brooklyn. The family's in Jersey now. Oh.
Yeah, some of his family, but
yeah. Melinas, have you ever encountered celebrities at the weddings that you photographed? I can tell you about my celebrity. Oh, we have celebrity run-ins, but we'll let you go first. Let you guys go first.
We just saw Governor
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, Governor Murphy. Well, does that count?
No, and it wasn't even our wedding. It was for the wedding in the same venue, and it was whatever.
At the adjacent ballroom. At the adjacent ballroom, right? He just happened to be there.
In my previous job, I went to Little Kim's baby shower, and that was a long time
fun.
There were some Brooklynites there, but no, not at weddings.
The one I had one, but Karis beats me, right? But like the one that I had was, you remember Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? Aunt Viv, the first one, not the second one. The first Aunt Viv.
And she was
at Westmount.
Did not want any photos taken of her. I was like, I didn't even know who she was. I was like, okay.
I knew who she was. All right. I was like, oh my God, that's Aunt Viv.
Part of my normal photography. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, that's Aunt Viv. I don't know who Aunt Viv is. I was like, that's Aunt Viv, right? But Karis,
the first one.
That was my first and only run-in. But Karis has a pretty interesting one. Actually, she has several because Karis, she's different. She's special. She's in that special market.
Several.
Well, you ran into Sarah Jessica Parker. That's nobody.
Oh, that was Fashion Week. That's not a wedding.
All right, but you also had another wedding.
I ran into Sarah Jessica Parker and the girl from White Lotus. She was like glowing. She's like
Jennifer Coolidge.
I don't know their names.
I don't know her name. She's like super pale.
Stifler's mom?
Hold on. White Lotus.
Stifler's mom.
Yeah, that's
White Lotus now or White Lotus last season or first season.
Yep, last or first season.
Aubrey Plaza?
Alexandra,
the blondie girl.
She comes out as Rachel Patton. Is that her real name?
Rachel, I can't remember
See,
that.
I don't even know these names, guys.
Alexandra Daddario. Yep, that's her. I
Okay.
didn't know, but Pia girl was going crazy. She's like, you gotta get
Oh,
him.
yes.
No,
From the
the
first
wig,
season,
babe.
she
Oh,
was
yeah.
married to that douchebag. She was going to leave him in the very first season.
Yep.
Oh
She
yeah.
was the journalist that got married into a higher end family.
Yeah.
No,
Mm.
but
Oh
Karis,
yes.
you
She
did,
was
babe.
just so
You
gorgeous.
you shot the wedding of the one who did the celebrity wigs, the wig
Yep, she's still
person.
doing. She's doing a lot of shows on Netflix.
But
She sees,
you ran into
she sees
celebrities at
all
that
the
one too.
celebrities. Yeah. I don't know her name.
Susan Sarandon.
Oh, I love Susan Sarandon. That's a classic.
Yeah, right. Exactly. We're
She
going
does.
old school now.
Yeah, I have a bride that does like wigs for
Oh,
Hollywood. So, and
Love
she
that.
did a movie, Blue Beetle. Is it?
it's possible.
I think that's like an old
But
DC
you know
movie.
what's funny? Do you know what's funny, Jess? That you said that Kelly Rowland was there, Beyonce was there,
Yeah.
but Michelle didn't make it. She wasn't invited.
No, Kelly seems to just be part of the family. So
Michelle's
I don't
never
know.
invited.
Let me tell you, I don't know if this is gonna make it on the podcast, right? But there's a whole meme like "Poor Michelle." It's hashtag Poor Michelle.
It really is. Yeah.
And like she's like all of Destiny's Child, they get to wear dresses except for her. She's got to put on pants, right?
Michelle.
Like when they get their Grammy, right? Everyone gets to touch the Grammy in their picture except for Michelle. She's not allowed to touch the Grammy, right?
Yeah.
I like to think Michelle is just low key. She's just like, you know what? I'm fine to be in the background, guys. I'll see you later. You know.
Like I'm still getting paid, right?
Oh, she is
Yeah.
for sure. I'm sure. Well, at least we hear about Michelle. There's a fourth member that we never remember what her name was. You know, I don't.
Well, there's
remember.
there's probably 3 other ones who
Really?
were in and out.
I didn't know
That
that.
are-
Interchangeable members.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jess, we've been asking a lot of people, vendors lately, about, and I'd like to get your perspective as a florist, running a venue. 2025, things are weird. How
Yeah.
are you guys seeing it from your end as being like part of a venue and a florist?
Yeah, I feel we're always looking so far ahead, like I'm sure you guys are, of like the bookings and things like that. I feel like probably 6 months ago, we were concerned, like what is going on? We were hearing from other vendors like, oh, next year's slow. And we were like, oh, okay, maybe this is just what it is. We still are figuring out what our new normal is a little bit, because prior to the building, we could only do 30 weddings a year or whatever, or 40 weddings a year maybe. So now is our new normal 100? Is it 120? Is it 80? Is it, what is it? So it did feel slower than 24 did. 24 felt pretty packed. So 25 did feel slow to start. We filled in a lot of dates last minute, and I feel like we're still getting calls about this year.
Yeah.
So yes, it felt weird. It feels okay now to me, but who knows? Everything's always feels like it's up in the air since COVID.
Yeah.
So as for from the venue perspective with last minute, what we're trying to figure out when we get last minute. So we actually just booked a cross piece couple for getting married in December,
year.
but they just booked you guys maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be like, how are you guys planning and paying for a wedding in 6 months? And it's normal because we just booked May wedding, we booked a July. I'm like, how is that?
I think it's a personality type, honestly. It's like if you know what you like and what you want and you're willing to just make a decision, you can plan a wedding in 3 months. But a lot of people have all the anxiety around it of well, do I want pink or green bridesmaids dresses? And it's a 3-month decision versus just getting it done. You know what I mean? No, it's going to be okay. So with us, it's easy. We could really plan at the venue side. We could plan your venue stuff 2 months out, and we'd all be fine, right? With Floral, I meet with people about 6 months out, but I could also plan it in 3 months and be fine. It sort of depends on your team, and if you have money and you can make those decisions easier and faster, great. But it can be done for sure.
Yeah. Yep. It's crazy how people do it.
So you are finding clients booking on a shorter time scale.
Not really. Not the venue's the first thing you book, so we are booked earlier than probably a lot of other vendors. But because I'm meeting with some couples now, their wedding might be in 6 to 8 months, and they're like, yeah, I still got to find, this vendor or that vendor. And my body's like, what do you mean? Why didn't you do that right away? Or hotels or whatever. And, Everybody's different.
You know, it's funny because like we've met with people who are booking us now, but they had their venue like for like a year, and I'm like, oh, so what did you do in the past year? They're like, nothing. I'm like,
Nothing.
oh,
Chilled.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot.
Yeah. How long you been engaged? Oh, about a year. But you're talking to me now. Your wedding's in 3 months. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I literally
bizarre.
have a booking for in May. We just got
May,
a contract
June,
for
July.
for
Yep,
May.
yep.
That's like 6 weeks from now.
Richard
I
was
know.
got one for May too. I'm like,
It's crazy.
when
Yep, it is
we
crazy.
We give them a whole guide that's like, hey, book these vendors now, you know, and it's always like photographer, musician, whatever. Like, do this now. You can wait a little bit on hair and makeup and stuff, but like, do these right away so that you get them get the ones you want on your date.
Exactly.
How is 26? What are the 26 vibes looking like for you guys?
26 looking good for us. We're like ahead in bookings, so
That's good.
Love that.
it's looking good.
That's good.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
26 is looking good for us too. So
26 is looking normal. They're
Okay.
inquiring, booking. Yep.
Yeah, I think we're kind of always waiting for the shoe to drop right now with like everything going on in politics. It's like the fear of you know, recession and things like I think at any point could scare people into being like, I'm not going to have a big wedding or I'm not going to do this now. So
yeah.
We'll see.
And I think Florals and design, you guys are a little bit more insulated from like any kind of ageism or anything like that. Because I do feel like in photography, there needs to be that perception that we got to be like young and hip and stuff like that. Because you don't see too many like 50, 60-year-old wedding photographers out there.
Also hard on the body. Like, am I trying to be out here for 12 hours?
Well, even like florals, that you know, that's hard work too. It's hard manual labor, you know.
Yeah, but like with me, I have a team, right? So it's like I was always doing the manual labor for a long time. I'm tired now, and I have 3 kids. I'm not maybe staying for the repurpose. I'm not maybe going to every single wedding anymore. So like, you guys have to be there. But now I hire young, lovely ladies to do some of the heavy lifting for me. And that's the difference too, you know?
Yeah. I remember we had this young man who was with us. He was 23 years old. We'd shoot a wedding for 12 hours or whatever. It's like 11, 12 o'clock now. We're done. He's off the clock now. And he's going to a party.
Going to the city. Yep.
Yeah, actually, I had a coordinator like that once. She was like, yeah, I'm going to the city now. It's like, good for you. I'm going
Good
to
for you. Must be nice. I'm exhausted.
Right to bed.
You know, when you're young, and you just can keep on going.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you have a team now, right? So this is, how many weddings can the venue accommodate? At least 2, right?
Not in a day. We only do 1 a day.
One a day.
We do Thursday through Sunday, but we don't really push Thursdays because it's a lot for Floral and the kitchen to be doing 4 in a week. So we do Thursdays once in a while. So really Friday, Saturday, Sunday is like our main booking for the week. Yeah.
And you don't do florals off-site?
Only occasionally. Like if it is a slower year and I might have the day available, sure. But it's not really worth it to me at this point. We're not equipped also to necessarily do like bigger offsite weddings because we don't need a van on site. We don't have trucks. We don't have that kind of stuff. So it's fun, but I don't really need to.
Yeah.
What was the thought process behind being like, hey, we're going to be the in-house florist? And then like, do you get people give pushback for that?
We occasionally, I think we've built it now to a point where they're like, I'm having meetings every year. It's gotten better, right? So I'm having meetings now where clients are like, oh, I chose this venue because of this floral you did or something. So we're doing more now that they're interested in. And so it's way less pushback than it was, which is lovely. I've worked really, really hard to be accommodating and try to do new things and all of that. And it helps attract clients to us. Where previously, maybe in the mason jar days, it's like, well, I could do this. I could make these mason jars. Why can't I just bring them in? Or my aunt is a florist. We get that a lot. And some people understand like this is just the rule here. And some people don't. And then if it's really that serious, they don't choose the venue.
Right.
And it's okay.
It's a non-negotiable. You guys have to be the florist.
Yes.
Yes. And I love that. I mean, it helps with like make less decisions, guys. Like there's so many floral options.
That is also what a lot of people say. Like, I'm so glad that I can do so much here and I don't have to go out and find certain things. Obviously, our vendor list is helpful. Yeah, it's much easier. And I know what works at the venue.
So they can't DIY their own details or anything like that, like a balloon arch
No,
or what have you.
I mean, there's like rare circumstances. I mean, if you want to bring a balloon arch in here, more power to you. But, there's like rare circumstances where it's like my grandmother had 100 bud vases and like we really want to use them, and sure, that's fine, but they're not going to DIY their own flowers typically.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys have kept up with the trends, and I think people really love like the flowers that you guys do, and you guys pretty much can do anything, which is
I mean, it's what's fun about it, honestly. I can't imagine just like doing one thing over and over and over and over again. It's already repetitive when you have to do like the same white wedding all the time or whatever, like, so it's nice to be able to do all that different stuff.
One thing I'm just thinking about that I wanted to talk to you about is kind of like as you guys went from the tent to the building, there was like a whole rebranding process, and like I think you guys really niched down on like the type of clients that you wanted, the types of weddings that you want to attract. Tell us about that whole experience.
The farmhouse actually was an original idea of my parents to build a building, because the history is we were cooking out of a kitchen 25 minutes away, 30 minutes away. And my dad would have to schlep all the food and dishes, dirty dishes, everything back and forth. So they were like, eventually we got to build a building and a kitchen here. We can't keep doing this. It's so much labor. They wanted to build in 2008, but the recession hit and they were like, the tent is fine. We'll sit on this. And so it was a long time in the making for us to get to a point of, okay, well, now we're not going to build such a rustic barn. We're going to build this elegant farmhouse. And then they built the farmhouse. We felt like it wasn't big enough. Let's build a conservatory. So things kind of just progressed the way they progressed. But once that building was going up, we were like, this is no longer a tent situation. This is no longer a rustic situation. This is now more of a luxury thing. And everything then had to be adjusted to keep up with that. So we had to update the playhouse where the girls get ready. We had to update a space for the guys. We had to, just do whatever we can in various spaces to keep up with that. And so the rebranding came that way. It was like, well, now this is feeling like a luxury space. We're looking for a luxury client now. And that's kind of how that evolved.
Fell into place.
It's just, I'm sure you feel in your own business when things are sort of like shifting and you've got to go with whatever that thing is and figure out how you want to make it work for you. So that's just time. That's just trends. That's just the way things go, especially in this industry.
That's a good, not a segue, but it's a good reminder that that it's okay to evolve as your business evolves. I think some people, they get stuck doing things a certain way. They're like, oh, I've been doing this for 20 years. I know what I'm talking about, and I'm going to continue doing it this way because it's worked for 20 years. But the thing is, it's okay to evolve. And if your clientele evolves too, then that's okay. You go where the fish are, or where they're going. You just want to be there when they're there. That's all.
Totally. And honestly, back to your point about like a lot of people are trying to hire like hip young photographers. I feel like, my mom and my parents started this, and then I came in and my husband came in, the younger generation. Then like we hire people who are trying to get into the industry, and they're learning and they're growing, and I'm trying to learn from them. Like, I'm sort of phasing out of the social media thing. I used to love making reels and doing this, that, and the other thing. And now I'm like, again, I have 3 kids. I'm not doing that anymore. I don't have time anymore to be scrolling on my phone. You young person over here, you do this now. And you bring ideas with your fresh new mind that, Yeah. And I think that's part of the evolution as well.
Yeah, you just gotta learn how to evolve.
The young generation grew up with the phone in their hand since they were babies.
And
you see it too in your clients. It's like now I'm not the same age as my clients anymore, like I once was. So watching that, I find myself relating with the mom now instead of the bride, and it's that too. You gotta like.
Yeah.
I am so injured. I feel injured, but it's true. I do relate so much better to the parents.
I think that's important. I'm not going to pretend like I'm 22 and I know what's going on. I'm not.
Isn't there a meme? There's a meme with Steve Buscemi with a backwards hat and a skateboard. Hey guys, hey young people.
I'm still going to try to pretend like I'm a little young, but like.
Something that happened to me at a recent wedding. It was the groom's whole family was Filipino, and they were calling me Kuya, which means older, like brother, or older
Yeah,
cousin.
big brother. Yeah, big brother.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so they called me that all day, and I was like,
That's an honor,
yeah.
though.
He
Honor.
basically told me
Honor.
the groom basically told me that he's the oldest cousin, and they don't call him that. So
Oh, wow.
for his brother to be calling me that, it was like, it says a lot.
But then they
And-
asked your age.
Yeah, but then he asked me how old I was, and I told him, and he was like, "Yeah, you're definitely Kuya."
There's a
It
joke.
was,
It means older brother, right? So
Yeah.
so there's a joke. There's a joke in the Filipino community, right? So basically, you know, if you have a guy who really likes a girl, and the girl's like, you know, I really just see you as my kuya, you know, and you know what kuya means? It means, could you just be my friend?
Friend zone.
Right?
You know what I keep thinking
Oh,
about
man.
as we're getting older, as you mentioned, like that means like let's say like your kids could be let's say you had a kid when you were like 20. They could be getting married this year, right?
Right.
Laos. Like, would you guys be like supporting and spending all this money on a wedding for like your child? That's what freaks me out because I'm like, well, like millennials my age, like, do they want to spend on a wedding?
I think some do. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
some do.
My
Yeah.
clients spend. My clients spend.
No,
So-
the parents. Like,
Would we spend for our kids? I think we would.
okay.
Karen's
Yeah,
already
you-
decided that we're paying for the kids' wedding, so I have no say in
I
this.
said I want a small wedding for our kids. We will pay, but I want a small destination
But-
wedding.
But it's not for you to say. It's whoever they marry, and they decide
Yeah.
what they're gonna
No,
do. It's not your
no,
wedding day.
no.
Oh no! You can't.
Whatever I say it is, okay?
Like if it's a destination, I'll pay for all of it. If it's not, you're on your own. No, but I think as wedding professionals in this industry, we can't complain about when a client tries to haggle us, and then if your
Mhm.
kid is getting married, you can't do that.
No, I don't mean like wedding professionals. I'm just saying like people our age. Let's say we're still shooting in like 4 years, we're mid 40s, and like our clients' parents are also in their mid 40s, and I'm like, would they be willing to spend on a
You
wedding?
have to.
Are they
I
encouraging?
feel like if you're in the industry, it's
No, not in the industry. Just
Yeah,
parents in general.
because we know what things are worth. Is what I'm saying.
You're not
Like,
understanding. Let's say Joe Schmo.
Like our peers, asking our
45.
peers, if our peers are,
peers, our age
our
group,
peers,
not wedding
are they willing to
hunters.
spend? Yeah, I think they
okay,
would.
okay, I see what you say. All right.
Okay.
I think
'Cause
it's
now the whole thing they're
it's so
saying-
dependent
Mhm.
Yeah.
on so many things. Like I have a client who they have one son, and that son had leukemia at some point. He like beat the odds. It's like there's no end to like what I will do for you, child. Right?
Yeah.
So you
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
depends.
It costs whatever it costs. It costs whatever. It's just like our kids' tuition. It costs whatever it costs, and that's what it is.
Yep.
You know. So
Yeah.
that's the way we're looking at it. I don't know how prepared I am to pay for our kids' weddings, but although I think we're probably going to observe like Western tradition where the bride's family
Right.
pays. But you know, because Asian, I don't know if you know this, Jess, or Marlena's, right? In Asian customs, the groom side pays,
Yeah.
right? Because it's like a dowry. We're
You're taking the daughter, yep.
you're taking the daughter, right? So so you have to pay for that daughter like livestock, you know, you have to like pay for that thing, right? But in Western culture, usually the bride side pays. But anyway, I don't care.
Ben's
Whatever,
like
we'll figure it out.
we're gonna observe Western culture.
just this time we're gonna
Paris wants to pay so she could call the shots.
Yep. Calling all the shots.
So
I don't know.
I guess the next question we can ask you, Jess, and we ask this of all, well, actually, there's two questions we ask, right? But the other thing is, I'll ask this one first. What can photographers do to make your lives a little easier as florists? What can we do to make your day a little bit more productive, a little easier, a little less stressful?
Honestly, I don't feel like I need anything, but there's nothing. I think the only time I'm really interacting with a photographer is when we have to do the room shot. And now everybody's repurposing flowers. So we have to move all these flowers in, and we're always trying to move as fast as we possibly can. There's nothing really to do. I just feel bad. Sometimes it's like, you guys are waiting. How much longer till you're done, florist? I'm not sure because we still got to schlep this stuff in. I got to fix stuff. You know, like that's the one area where I feel like the crossover is happening the most now. And it's tight for you guys. It's a tight window. Sometimes it might take me the full cocktail hour to get everything in that we need to get in. And that's usually when you're shooting the room. So I don't know if they're, usually we'll just work around. You guys shoot a table while we're still setting something up over here. So it all works out. For me, we love, like you said, I love to get the photos back and there's a nice shot of the bouquet and there's a nice shot of this piece, and great. If I don't get it, we'll survive. But
So you're speaking in the context of floral and decor, but what about on the venue side? What can photographers do to make the venue's life or the catering side a little easier, a little bit more convenient, more productive? What can we do?
What not to do?
I don't really, I'm such a flexible person, and I'm like good at adjusting for whatever the personality is. As long as you are flexible and you're accommodating and working with the venue coordinator or whoever it is, there's not usually an issue, There's not usually something. The only times we used to run into things, which people do less now, or that maybe the scheduling has just gotten better. It used to be like, we have to do sunset photos right now, but it's also time for toast, or it's time for dinner, or it's time for whatever. But even then, I find everyone we work with is pretty good. So there's not too many issues, but that's usually what it is, right? It's a scheduling thing, or it's like, well, the client asked me, the photographer, to do this one specific thing at this time, but you have it in your schedule that you need to do this thing. How are we going to work this out?
Yeah, I do feel like that's a conversation that should be covered once the photographer arrives on site. It's not something you don't have that conversation when the sun's coming down right now. You don't, not, and the dinners are coming out and the toasts are about to happen. That's not when you have that conversation. So that could be also an educational thing for photographers as well.
Yeah. I think too, we often get some sort of schedule either from the client, like they're just letting you know, at least we ask them specifically what time is your first look, which they're getting from you guys usually. But they will often let us know, like, hey, I want to do this one specific photo at this time. That's part of the plan. So if you guys have a schedule and you want to send it to a coordinator or whatever, that might be helpful, because sometimes the client's just not communicating that. But, most of the time they are. I feel like we're lucky. We have very good clients. We work with very good vendors. We rarely have issues. So
that's awesome.
What about other vendors should think about for venues? Let's say DJ. Or entertainment.
The entertainment is always not always the hardest, but can be the hardest, because bands especially, have their scheduled breaks, or we don't know what's in the contract all the time that you client signed up for that now affects when dinner is. It would be better, honestly, if vendors could have a little more communication before the wedding, but it's hard. There's so many vendors involved and everybody's on limited time. Maybe somebody needs to invent some sort of app where people can all connect and chit chat. Go for it. But yeah, because if you have, some venues have probably 6 weddings in a week. How are you going to communicate with all those vendors?
That's what a planner's job is. A planner.
If there's a planner, though.
If there's a planner. So you've been doing this 14 years, and you said that you learned everything out in the field. It's kind of just learning as you go, right? So your very, very first job. Oof. What was the size and scope? What did you charge for it?
I do not remember my very, very first job, but they literally were all mason jars at the time. It was like, it was a burlap runner. It was 1 to 3 mason jars per table, maybe some votives. People weren't even doing candles the way they're doing now. I can't imagine it was more than 75 to 100 per table, maximum.
75?
Yeah, for everything, for the runner, for the flowers, for the little candles.
So about $1,500, no more than $2,000.
I'm trying to remember totals from back in the day. Yeah, probably 3,000.
But 3,000, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it was
you can get 50 Moses cruises for that. He's by far the one who got paid the least for his first job. He shot a wedding for $60, and he thought he was. Yeah, right.
Wow.
I love that reaction.
Was that 1991? What was happening?
He started around the same time we did.
Yeah, it was like 2010, maybe 2011.
This comes up every episode. Poor Moses, we make fun.
Yeah, he gets a little cameo. But the
we weren't that far off. We were like $150.
Yeah,
150. Yeah, we did ours. First one was for 400. So yeah, I mean, we all got to start somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
it was a different time, man.
There's no shame in that. Is there anything that you'd like to share with our audience before we let you go? Get back to running around chasing your boys.
Yeah.
Motherhood.
Nothing special. Just, enjoy the ride.
Yeah, I
Really?
don't know when if I have you guys on my calendar this year or anytime in the near future, but I'll keep an eye out for it. Carousel, are you going to Cross Keys anytime
No,
soon?
no.
No. Yeah. Well, I look forward to the next time.
I would love to.
Yeah. Hold on.
They
Let's see if this
they
works.
did
Let's see if
have
this
a
works.
nice vendor event. Was it last year?
Yes. Or
When we
two
built the
years ago?
conservatory, yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool. Really
Yeah.
nice.
Do it again. No.
I know. I would love to. We have no time in the schedule now. Every year I'm trying to look for a spot that we can do something, but
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, Jess, we appreciate you so much for hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Just being awesome and giving us a little bit more insight into the world of what you do. I think you're the first florist that we've had on the air, right?
cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
gonna be,
And
it was
venue.
amazing. And
Yeah.
venue.
Florist and venue. Yep.
Can you let our listeners know where to find you?
All over the place. We're at Cross Keys Estate, at Cross Keys Designs, at Cross Keys Inn, and I'm Jess Hanselrod. But I mostly post babies and weird stuff, so
Yes.
weird with that.
She's very entertaining on the gram.
I'm very silly. When I'm at work, I'm like so dead serious. People think I'm mad, and then when they see me outside work, they're like, who is that crazy person?"
Well, guys, definitely check her out wherever you guys are hanging out on the internet, right? Just go find her, go look for her. So anyway, if you guys would like to check out our behind the scenes bloopers, highlights, and all that good stuff, I'm going to be working on the website in the next couple of weeks. Okay, I promise. I'm working on it. Okay, I will be working on it. And you can check that out at focused-af.com. You can also follow us on social media, Instagram mostly, at focused.af. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Correct. That is correct. And you can also find us on YouTube. How can they find us on YouTube, Mr. Rolando?
The Focus AF podcast on YouTube.
Yep. You guys can be follower or subscriber number 7 or number 8. Where are we at now?
We have more than that. We might have
Smash
double
that
digits.
button.
Smash that
are
subscribe
slowly
button.
getting there.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, but you guys can find us wherever you guys download your podcast, Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff. But anyway, on that note, are you guys focused AF?
We are. Time to work.
Yeah, it's time
Time
to
to
have
work.
breakfast, actually.
Yeah.
All right, rock and roll. Well, Jess, we appreciate you so much for hanging out with us.
Yes,
we mean
thank
that.
you.
Love
Oh my gosh. Well, anyway,
Appreciate
you guys ready?
myself.
You guys good to go?
Yeah.
Yep, we're
Thanks,
good.
It's still all
Jess.
recording.
Yep. Thank you for your time.
See you.
And
We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Adios.
Bye.
Focused AF is a fun, business-focused podcast for wedding creatives.
Co-hosted by award-winning husband and wife wedding photography teams Ben and Karis.
And Jen and Ro, where we help fellow wedding creatives with their sales and marketing.
With laid-back conversations and real talk with some of our most favorite people in the universe.
And with that being said, are you focused AF?
I am Focused AF today.
We are Focused AF.
I think I might be Focused AF.
Welcome to the Focused AF podcast.